Hey guys, Jono here from Ecommerce SEO. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure you hit the subscribe button below or head on over to our free private Facebook group where there's plenty of great discussion going on over there about Shopify SEO, link in the description. In this video, I just want to briefly talk about guest posting or obtaining guest post links with your off-page and link building strategy for your Shopify store. Just go over a few things to watch out for. You'll probably be aware that guest posting certainly can be a really effective way to generate inbound links to your store. It's part of the off-page strategy that we certainly use with all our sites, and regardless whether you're using a service for your guest posting opportunities or you're actually manually outreaching yourself, there's just a few things that you should be aware of when you're actually obtaining these links and actually having this process work for you. Now, we see it a lot where people use a service, or even if they manually outreach, and it's essentially really a white hat process to have those to have a guest post actually published with a link back to your site or a number of different links, that you just take it for granted that it's been done in the right way. But the guest posting community or the service that have been provided now by many different vendors. As with everything, there are some highly reputable, very high quality services, and then there's also services that are not so much of high quality and not probably the best option for your inbound linking opportunities. And people, when they're trying to make a buck, if you're actually paying for a service, people get ripped off all the time, and it's no different in the link building or the guest posting industry. That it happens all the time. So there's just some simple things you can do. None of this is rocket science. None of this is new, but it's also but it's just worth going through and checking things quickly once you've actually got a link from your site, and whether you used a service or whether you did it manually, that when it's actually live, that it's actually what you expected. You may be like us, we get emails every day from people spruiking their guest posts, and many of them are just lists of guest posts that are available to hundreds, if not thousands, of different people around the net. So you're not getting anything unique, and there's a high chance that a lot of those mass type posting services are already suppressed or already have a low quality value when it comes to actually obtaining a link from them. So wherever possible, you want that the option to have a link on a guest post to be as unique as possible and certainly relevant. So just a few things to check. So certainly the first thing is you want to make sure, I'll just go through these three in a minute, but the first thing you want to make sure it's actually a reasonable quality site. So let's just look at this example here. Let's say you have you're selling CBD or a hemp product or cannabis, for example, CBD oil, and you're actually wanting to obtain a link from this site to your store, and that could be to a collection page, to a particular product, maybe to a blog post. We go into a little more deeper the actual full strategy in our course, but just if that's what you're trying to do, first of all you want to make sure that the site actually has quality itself. So you want to make sure it's got its own rankings and it's got its own traffic. So quickly you can head on over to Ahrefs or other tools that you use and actually just have a look if it's actually got traffic. So if we look at the organic traffic here, we can see that it's got traffic and it's actually increasing nicely. The site's a couple of years old. And if we then look at organic keywords, we can actually see whether it's actually ranking. And one of the best metrics for quality is a site ranking for keywords that have got reasonable volume itself. And we can see here this site certainly does. It's got rankings on the first page, got some reasonable volume, and you also want to make sure that there's some sort of relevance to what they're actually ranking as well. So far so good for a site like this. Then you want to make sure are the links what you actually expect. So for example, if let's say you outreached and they were able to create some content for you and actually link back to your site with relevance here, you want to make sure if you ask for a do follow link or they suggested it was going to be a do follow link, actually just make sure it is. So you can see here I've actually got a Chrome extension that tells me whether they're no follow or do follow. If you've got the red dotted line, it's a no follow link. But you can also just double check, go to page source, and then just go and have a look at that link. And I'm just going to type in no follow here, and we can see straight away that there is that link, and it's actually no follow. So no follow not necessarily a bad thing, but if you've asked, if they've suggested you're going to get a do follow link, or you've asked for a do follow link and you don't, then obviously you're not getting either what the service was or what the agreement was. One of the other things that sometimes guest post providers will do, they'll create a post and they'll have a link, and it might even be a do follow link, but essentially the page will be orphaned. And what I mean by that is that the page is either not in the sitemap. They might even remove it from the sitemap, which is something that we've seen before. So that means that Google can't actually crawl that page. It's not as an internal link from anywhere in the site. So it's not in the menu, it's not in the blog section, it's not on paginated pages. So Google can't actually come and crawl the site and actually find that particular page. Google needs to be able to crawl a site. It wants to know that the site's accessible for users, and then it's going to value that page higher. So if you find you're getting links from pages that are orphaned on a site, that's obviously a low quality signal, and you're not going to want that either. So some real simple things you want to check that actually, first of all, the site has some quality, so rankings and traffic. The link is actually what you expected, so it's either a no follow or do follow, or it might even be tagged as a sponsored post, which we've got these days. So the key is just understanding that you got what the agreement was, and then if the page is not orphaned, so it actually can be found through the navigation, and Google can find it also. So there are a few other things to check when you're actually getting a guest post, obviously, back to your Shopify store. It's very powerful when done correctly, but these are just some simple things you can check really quickly, and at least it gives you a start to understand that the strategy is actually going to provide you some benefit. Okay, real simple, but hope that was some value. We'll talk to you in the next video.